Good luck, duelists. And as always, trust to the heart of the cards. It's time to duel!
Unfortunately, Zen is mostly relying on those go second cards that we were mentioning, both mind control going first and not what you want to see. So this part of Desire will be the deciding factor for this game. He really needs to pick up some of the engine cards, and luckily for him, Chai did not open a single Antrop. So
let's see where Kosaka's going. It's off these top two cards. Take a breath, take a look.
And there is a sign in mining there, so that's definitely what he wanted to see. Now the next step is slowly check those 10 banished cards for a Gazelle. And it's the first card, wow!
Oh, it's so dangerous running Cloud of Desires when you only have one copy of your key card.
They are both playing Desires. Throughout the previous future matches, he's never really let them down. Now it did, and this is gonna hurt a lot. Gazelle, just as a reminder, is at 1 for this event, so he's completely cut off from that, which is...
Wow, that's brutal.
Brutal,
That's brutal to be starting off the finals just like that.
It's tough. I guess you have to start leaning in on, maybe on Jack Jaguar.
Yeah, it's...
just keep getting monsters on the field. It's not an easy one, though.
It seems like he's passed. Yeah, I was about to say is...
One good thing, though, is that, you know, he only needs one monster because he can use his opponents.
Yeah, with
exactly.
the double mind control there.
And the really cool interaction in the mirror match is Ita. So if your opponent, or you can prevent your opponent from getting back the Gazelle with the Wolf, then you can steal their own Gazelle and use it as your own. So that's still an option for Kouki. And I think he's gonna really rely on that because his hand is not looking anywhere good at the moment if Chai doesn't overextend here. So
would you say with these two pieces of interaction that Kouki is pretty safe from being OTK'd here?
Should be, but it really depends on what Chai has. And at the moment, I think his hand also relies a lot on the pot of Desire. Yeah. So they overall have very similar hands. But it is quite different. So at least he will be able to fin through his deck. And something that we have seen previously from Chai was playing around the Phantasme from their opponents when they didn't really have much going on. So let's see. Again, one Desires, who is going to have the better Desires? It really might just come down to this for this game one.
Another cool thing with Will of the Salamander right there, summoning from hand.
Let's see, this draws us super important.
Do we see the double the Gazelle taken out of the game?
Unfortunately, we are not able to see those cards. But
just tilt those cards slightly further forward?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Would have been interesting to see them, but the draws are pretty solid, so Foxy and Spinny both being useful in this spot.
Besides, a little mystery is good for the soul. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was kind of built on it, really, with trap cards, face downs, that sort of thing.
Ever since day one.
Okay, and he just attacks with both. Again, it's quite possible that he will just hand here, maybe on a Beast Dweller, which is an even better way to play around the Phantasme. Let's see what he thinks is the optimal choice here.
It's just a tough set of cards.
He does just pass. So as he did in... Oh, and a third mind control is picked up.
Wow.
Well, those are definitely getting played this turn.
Yeah, now he has a chance, of course.
Might be nice to take those two monsters and keep them stuck under an Xyz monster of your own.
It's definitely interesting. He has quite a few options. The Twin Twister isn't that great in this matchup. Luckily for him, since Chai was playing around Bale Links, there isn't any protection at the moment. And the Sign of Money comes down. Right now, the only interaction from Chai is the Diddy Crow. Again, very relevant that he decided to main deck Freepo. I think he is the only one in the entire field that decided to go for this, and it is paying out greatly. So
he's got his hand on the Jack Jaguar there. Is that or Foxy? running some numbers in his head.
Yeah, because at the moment he's quite short of another level 3, since Chia didn't really commit to it, so even the Ita wouldn't get him there, so maybe he could go for a Foxy and try to get a Spinny or something else to get going.
He's got to have a high concentration of Salamangreat cards left in his deck at this point, because he hasn't seen any so far. Mind Control number 1 is activated, taking Chia's Jack Jaguar.
So from here it also depends if he might have banished the Sanctuary as well, honestly. That would hurt even more, so...
Man, hitting 2 1-ofs with 1 Desires. Not good odds on that.
That's a risky run when you're running very slim 1-offs with Pot of Desires in your deck.
Takes control of both of the Salamangreat monsters.
Mind Control, a great card in last year's finals as well.
It was.
And I think we can safely assume that both of these guys might have watched it, and in particular, Chia was playing it, might have picked up on Bowden idea to run Mind Controls. So
Interesting. So summons Foxy, no effect.
and just attacks with it, yeah.
Main phase 2.
It is possible that he just wants to use it to clear the will. In that case, it is much better to use it that way. Because he knows his opponent also doesn't have too much going on at the moment, so it is... And luckily the Sanctuary wasn't banished. It would have been really too rough if he lost 2 of his best cards.
So that is...
Yeah, Foxy come down, but the DD Crow here is gonna hurt, so...
Gets tagged.
If it was any other Entrap here, you can see the difference. Since Foxy activates in the graveyard, but the effect to destroy a spell and trap doesn't activate in a new chain, you cannot negate it with like Effect Veiler or Impermanence.
Right.
And usually you see those Entraps. Here, for example, if Chia had that, he couldn't negate the Foxy, but the DD Crow paying off.
He is going to get to keep those Salamangreats out of Chia's graveyard, though, as he Xyz summons Baguska, the terribly tired Taker.
Billy's favorite number, as he mentioned on stream previously, number 41, so...
Just take a rest, take a timeout.
Baguska has kind of a debilitating effect while it's in defense mode, switching things to defense and negating their effects. Link monsters, of course, can't be in defense position as they have no defense points. And so they're safe.
So now a Cosmic Cyclone is picked up, and you can see one of the differences between his deck and the other ones. He is maining the Fusion of Fire, which is quite an impactful tool in the mirror match. And at the moment, though, since you don't usually see the number 41 on the field, it's not going to be as good as usual, because it would prevent the Violet Chimera and it would put it in defense position. So
yeah, that's a card that's been cut from a lot of extra decks, at least in North America. So always a little surprised by it.
Definitely. I think it depends heavily on the fact if you're running multiple targets, for example, for Super Polymerization, that takes away a slot because of Starving Venom, usually, so you're less inclined to play it because Abyss Dweller is usually considered the better one, but he's playing both, so he thought the card was relevant enough in the mirror match and in other matchups as well.
Just taking some time in the tank to think this play through.
Sets a monster face down.
Okay.
Not something you really see in Salamangreat, and it's generally a sign that things have not gone to plan.
Absolutely. The thing is, number 41 is actually very annoying to deal with, because right now you can see his only very good play would have been a Stalio, but Stalio, of course, would have been negated, so... And finally, an engine card is picked up by Kouki. He gets the circle. Just as a reminder, if anyone just tuned in, there is no Gazelle for Kouki. It was banished by the stars, so he has to try and play and navigate this game differently, so...
Now, the downside to Baguska is that you can't always, press your advantage in this case. So Chia kind of has a weaker setup here with just a face-down monster, and maybe it really is a weaker position, or maybe he's just trying to get that Baguska switch to attack position so that its effect stops.
I think there, a material also has to be detached, which means that he will get back one of his Salamangreat monster. But
On the standby phase.
yeah, which I think it is
being
what
pointed
the
out.
judges are catching up on right now. So he gives back the Jaguar to his opponent, but he's able to use even the third mind control right now. This is wild, yeah.
So he knows what that face down monster is. Looks like it is a Falco.
It's it should be spinny maybe. I think it was the spinny side. Yeah. So the spin is there. It's flipped, not in defense position, of course, but we are skipping the number 41, putting it into defense. So it will be interesting to see how he goes for this. So he might want to push some damage.